We are live. Hello, all. RT Bear here, coming to you live from Hack Shack Studios. How is everyone today? I just want to do a quick little clarification update video on something that was brought to my attention from a fellow YouTuber slash friend. And apparently, I didn't put it in the description. I should put it in the description at some point. Maybe I can put it in the chat. A link to what I am referencing. There was your boy Zack a couple days ago. When was this? December 11th. He did a video and he was talking about the stuff I said the other day about being fired from Marvel. If you haven't heard, I told a very heartfelt story about being let go at Marvel, a company that, a brand that I loved as a kid and was totally stunned that I was working there. Every day was like a dream come true to be able to work on these characters. And it was all taken away from me. I was fired and told I was never going to be able to work there again after 20 years of work. So for the details, you can go back a couple days and see a video that I did where I talk about that. I think Ethan Van Sciver did a video as well. I thought his assessment was pretty right on. He understands the business really, really well. So I think he understood more of what I was saying or what I was trying to say. Although, well, having said that, I don't think Zack, your boy, quite understands what I do for a living and what most freelancers do for a living and how it all works. Oh my God. Every time I see this. Oh, it's Tybert now. Okay. Hey guys, how are you? I'll do a quick hello. Hey, we have Sierra Whiskey there. Hey, what's up? Zack going to get it? No, I'm going to be very fair. I think he was trying to be fair, but life, we can only relate to things based on our experiences of life. And Zack doesn't understand a freelancer's life at all. To be honest, he doesn't understand it at all. I understand the corporate world. I understand everything he was saying in his YouTube video. But I thought it was, well, I'll get into it. And I'm going to try to be as fair as I can. I do get a little emotional about these things, so I'm going to try to get my emotions under control. What did Zack do? Fart? Well, I'll tell you, jalapeno milk. I will tell you. Yeah, and if you guys haven't heard, I have a Indiegogo campaign called Chrono Mechanics, 3 days out from closing. So I'm gonna go into this and try to take care of it, and then we can talk about Chrono and some other cool stuff. But I just saw the video. I guess it's a couple days old, and I just wanted to kind of set the record straight, more or less. I'm not angry at what he said. I'm just kind of like, I wish he understood more about the freelancer world. And I just want to put this out there just as a flip side. I mean, you can believe whatever you want. You can side with whoever you want. I don't care about that, but I just think you need to know all the facts before you make these decisions. So Last Crusader, what is this? Well, the thing about Zack is his attention span is very short. You can probably just explain it to him. Well, I'll explain it to him in the form of a video. And it's not like he did anything like malicious or anything like that. It's just that on the main thing is, the main overall is, he's a company guy. He's a corporate guy. He's worked in those circles. He understands the way those things work. I do too. I understand exactly what David Bogart was doing. I understand everything that he was trying to do. And I'm not even saying what he was trying to do was wrong. Blue line, the inevitability of blue lining, and God, I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff that you guys might not have reference to. So I apologize. It would take too long to try to get us all on the same page. But you already know that I was fired from Marvel. David Bogart and CB were the guys that did it. And I said no to David Bogart when he wanted to do blue lines. And I had a lot of concerns and quite frankly, just a lot of just problems with it. And he wasn't being very understanding with the issues, and he didn't seem to care about any of the concerns and issues I had. And let's keep in mind, I'm a freelancer. I'm not a corporate guy. I was not under an exclusive with Marvel. I was on a month-to-month agreement, and even that they could break at any minute. Like Zack's got to understand the way we work. It's month to month. I'm not really hired. I'm not an employee. I'm a freelancer. Pure and simple. I'm not a company guy. I understand, I want to try to keep it focused. I was going to kind of jump into some of the more, the stuff he said later, but let me try to collect some of my thoughts here and try to go one by one. So the blue lines. I've already established I'm a freelancer. So what David Bogart wanted me to do is he wanted me to do to ink over blue lines and do it in the way that the way we do it now. But this was 15 years ago, so we didn't really have high-speed internet. Everything was still dial-up. There was a lot of problems, and also Marvel didn't really have a department to handle this. So I didn't have any tech support. I didn't have anything like that. So I was on my own to try to figure out all of this stuff and how to send things and all that. So he asked me to set up a system where I could get a page of pencils from the penciler, and then I would format that and then print it out on artboard, on an 11 by 17 artboard in blue line. And blue line is just blue printing. It's non-repro blue, which means in the printing process and stuff, it doesn't show up. You'll just see the black line over it. As an artist and a creative person, blue lines up to that point were incredibly hard to ink over because the ink just did not adhere to the board at all. So creatively, I was already very, very concerned that I was even going to be able to do my best work over these blue lines, because blue lines are kind of like sealing the surface, right? It seals, it's like a barrier between the board and the ink. And so the ink will adhere to the board, but it doesn't really adhere to the blue line ink. So it will repel it. It'll just bubble up. It doesn't give you a clean line. And so I had worked on blue lines prior to that, and that's why I knew that. So that's a genuine concern, because that means I cannot do my best work for the company. And that is a genuine concern. And also, Zack says it's not a big deal. It's just clicking a button, doing this, doing that, and then sending. No, this stuff can take 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And when you're working as a freelancer, I don't get paid an hourly. When you work a corporate job, you can eat the clock up, man. You can do nothing and still get paid. When you're a freelancer, dude, every freaking second, every minute counts, because if you eat your time up, then you don't get paid. I get paid per page. I don't get paid per hour. So the quicker and the more efficient I can get a page done means the quicker I can get into the next page, and so on and so on. So when you're asking me to even take 10, 15 minutes out of my schedule to do all this, and then the back end aspects are We were even asked to format the pages. That means to put it on a template. So the company gives you a template, and then you put the artwork on the template, and then you merge the two, and then you send it. So all of this stuff between the beginning part of it, printing it out, and then formatting and sending it out can be 20 minutes. 20 minutes, I can ink an entire panel in 20 minutes. So 20 minutes times 6, that's a page. So if I have to format, I don't know, 2 pages a day, that's 40 minutes. That's a half hour to 40 minutes out of my schedule that I have to do this, that I've never had to do before. I've never had to do that. So now there's a half hour, either I have to work later or somehow I have to get faster to pay me for that half hour that I lose. So it's not like an hourly job. And Zack doesn't understand that. I get paid per page and I get paid per hour. So it becomes problematic when somebody asks you to do more work. When somebody asked me to do more work when I worked Joe jobs and corporate jobs, no problem, because they were paying me to do that. If I had to do more work, I was getting paid more. But I didn't get paid any more to do this. He was asking me to do this for free. I wasn't, if it took me an extra hour to do what the boss told me to do when I worked, a normal Joe job, no problem. You were paying me for that extra hour that it would take me to do whatever it was that he asked me to do. And when I worked those jobs, I never said no, because who cares, right? I'm getting paid for it. As long as I'm getting paid an hourly, it doesn't matter. I'll do whatever the boss wants. But see, this is different. I'm a freelancer. He's kind of my boss, but I'm my boss. I'm my own boss. And this is a page by page, issue by issue agreement. And I've had companies renege on even the monthly agreement. Sometimes I'll get 2-3 pages into it and I'll get an issue pulled. That means that the rest of those pages that I was promised for that month, guess what? I don't get that money anymore. Yeah, it's a big freaking deal. When they pull pages from a freelancer, it's a big deal, because it's like cutting somebody's hours. It's like if Zack was putting an 8-hour day and then all of a sudden they said, you're only going to work 4 hours and we're only going to pay you for 4 hours. I don't think he'd be that happy with that. I don't think most people would be very happy with that. So, that's kind of the deal. He's not taking the freelancer, Zack is not taking in the freelancer aspects of the job, and how really unique and weird the working experience is. I have no guarantee I'm going to be working tomorrow. I have no guarantee I'll be working in an hour from now. Marvel or DC could pull the plug on me at any time. And it has happened before, but not in such a finite way as what happened to me at Marvel, where I was fired from 2 books, and then I was told by David Bogart that I would never work at Marvel again. That was the extra little, under my thumb kind of FU to me. And that's different. I've been pulled off books and then editors go, well, it just wasn't working out between you and the penciler, or we want to go in a different direction, and those type of things. And I was always like, well, okay, and then the editor would say, I'll look for another book for you, or I'll look for some more work in the meantime before you can get on another book. And that's kind of how it works. You don't get fired from a book and then told you would never work at the company again. And so the reason David Bogart said that to me, like I said, I'm kind of jumping around. So I'm hoping that you guys have seen the previous videos and know what I'm referring to. But so David Bogart, he fired me from Marvel and I was told I would never work there again, because I had tried to woo talent. I had tried to steal talent from Marvel and bring them over to DC, Well, this is another thing Zack brought up, and he took David Bogart's point of view on this. And he said, from a corporate standpoint, if somebody tried to steal my talent, I would fire you too. Okay. I'm not a corporate guy. I was under no contract at Marvel, and I was under no contract at DC. None of this makes any sense, because what did I get out of it? Why would I steal talent? I'm at Marvel Comics. I'm working on the 2 top books that they have, and they were continuously selling well. I'm working with 2 of the best talents in the industry, actually, as pencilers, and then 2 of the best writers, Mark Miller and Michael Bendis. The books are selling well. It's one of the best books, that were out there at the time. This 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. And we were winning awards, and this book was being praised as one of the greatest books that had come out in that time. So why would I even do this? Why would I all of a sudden go, you know what? I'm going to start trying to recruit people over to DC Comics. Bleeding Cool had speculated that I was on the payroll, that DC was paying me to do this. It's totally ludicrous. They would have had to pay me more than Marvel was paying me for those 2 books. There's no way they could pay me that amount of money to try to do something like this. It doesn't make any sense. And Zack's coming from a corporate standpoint. He's not coming from a freelancer standpoint. So I know, like if you work at Pepsi and you're fraternizing with people from Coke, they don't like that, because they feel like you could be betraying them to their rivals, their competitors. So I understand that from a corporate standpoint. But the thing is, I wasn't an employee of Marvel Comics, and I wasn't an employee of DC Comics. I was a freelancer. So, I can understand if I was a corporate guy and I had a job. I don't have a job. I have like an assignment. I have 22 pages that I'm responsible for. And that, like I had already established, is pie in the sky. They could pull that from me at any moment if they wanted to. So it doesn't make any sense for me to do any of these things. What would I gain from any of them? I would gain nothing. If I wanted to work at DC Comics, I could work at DC Comics. And at the time, I was working at DC Comics. I was working for both comic book companies. And that has never been a problem either, because that's how the industry works. You can work at DC and you can work at Marvel. If you're under an exclusive at those companies, well, then you can't, because then you are in a breach of an agreement. But I had no agreement. Like I said, it's month to month, day to day, page by page. They could let go of me at any time. So I'm not an employee. I'm a freelancer. It's different. And then, Zack got into more detail about like the lunch, like going out to lunch, with DC, and then, bringing Mark Bagley on. And then he's like, from a corporate standpoint, I can see why David Bogart would get mad, because, Art was facilitating this thing of bringing the enemy over, to their competitor's side. No, dude, this happens all the time. Even EVS mentioned it. This is pretty much normal behavior. There are no lines. We're all freelancers. We're all working and looking for our next gig. We're looking for our next job. How do you think that happens? You go and talk to people. You go and hang out, whether they're DC, Marvel, Image, or Dark Horse, or whoever, Dynamite. You're always talking to all those people. You stay friends with all those people. You stay connected with all those people, because you never know when you're not going to work again. You never know when the company, the corporation, is not going to like you or want to work with you or whatever. So you always keep all these channels open, because you never know. I don't know where my next paycheck's coming from, Zack. I don't know. You're a company guy. You know where your next check is coming from. You have HR. You have all those checks and balances. You have places that you could go. I don't. Who would I go to? I could go to nobody. There's nobody. that I can air a grievance with. There's nobody I can, I can complain to. This is it, man. It's day to day, hour to hour, week to week, month to month. So I stay friends with everybody. I talk to everybody. I go out to lunch with everybody. I bring my friends along. They bring me along. DC Marvel, we're all buddies. We all hang out. That's how things work. I hang out with pencilers at Marvel when I'm working at DC and vice versa. Because you know what else? That guy might be working at the rival company in a month or two. That's how these things work, man. People are going back and forth these companies all the time because we're freelancers. We're not just looking for work opportunity, but we're kind of hoping that the other company will pay us more. Because also, Zach, we don't get raises. We don't get cost of living raises. We don't get any of those things. We're like scrapping here. We're like looking for, for the next dollar. We're hoping that we can get, $5 more to add to our page rate. You know what I mean? I mean, this is really dog eat dog type of stuff. This is survival on a level that I don't think you comprehend at all. So like I said, I didn't want to. I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm just trying to kind of set the story straight. For everybody concerned, mostly the people that are listening right now in the chat, people that will listen in the future, and then also possibly if Zach is listening, that he can understand where I'm coming from and where all of this stems from. That as far as hanging out with Mark Bagley at lunch and going, with Dan DiDio is pretty normal behavior. It's not frowned upon. And like I said before in a previous stream, if Marvel was afraid of losing those guys or losing me, which apparently they weren't, they could have just offered everybody an exclusive. They could have offered everybody exclusive, given us a couple extra bucks to be loyal to the company, and then to give us X amount of books. Because usually the way the exclusives work is you get a little bit, either a bonus or you get a page rate increase. And then you get, usually, not always, you get like 12 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man. That's what the contract's for. So, which means they have to give you 12 issues of Spider-Man for that page rate or with that bonus in mind. So if you breach the contract and you don't do it, or you go to the other side and try to woo talent or whatever, then you're in breach of contract, and then you can be fired. And I understand that. I completely understand that because I'm being paid to be exclusive. I was not under that kind of agreement, and neither were Dave Finch or Mark Bagley. So if Marvel was afraid of losing these guys, they really should have just ponied up some dough and signed them to an exclusive. Because as a freelancer, we're always looking for the next gig, because sometimes these things have to overlap. Sometimes you go without work, even though I've been very fortunate not to. But I've heard freelancers go a week, 2 weeks, a month without a job. Can any of you go a month without a job, without payment? Of course not. Most of us are living, hand to mouth. So, a month, 2 months, 3 months. I read, I don't know if this is still true. What is it? 2 to 3 months. We're all 2 to 3 months away from being homeless. So if something, God forbid, happens, in 3 months, you can be devastated. So this is the reality of a freelancer's lifestyle. And Zack does say that he's from a corporate background, and that's completely different, my friend. It's completely different. You can't even, hey, sweet cast. I think we're going to do a cast later tonight with Clint. It'll be a blast. So, I just think that you can't compare the two. You can't compare a freelancer lifestyle to a corporate gig. You can't. They're completely different. Even, you know, my daughter working at Starbucks is completely different than the way I make my livelihood. Um, we couldn't even compare it. There's laws and there's all kinds of things that are regulated if you have a job like my daughter does or like Zack does, but they don't govern a freelancer at all. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And you become very, very, and as far as like, you know, I think he was talking about pulling pages too. And he was like, well, if somebody falls behind, then they have, you know, the right to pull pages. But just to clarify that as well, I wasn't behind. And for the record, Michael Bendis knew this. And when he heard I was being pulled from those 10 pages, he went to Ralph Macchio and said, don't do this. He said, you know, we're a team and we're on this together. He's not really behind. And I wasn't. I proved that. I got those pages done. There was no harm, no foul. There was no problem. It was just a powerful guy I said no to, which is David Bogart, and he started putting heat on me and started trying to make me pay for something that I had the right to say no to. If he was willing to pay me more money and he was willing to be a businessman and we were having a fair negotiation back and forth, I might have been doing the Blue Line inks, Zack. If he could pony up some dough and he could compensate me, or at the very least address some of the issues that I had brought up, which he did not. He did not. He was power tripping me. He was trying to bully me into doing what he wanted. And like I said, if this was an hourly and I was a corporate guy, fine, I'll do it. I'll make your Blue Line thing happen. No problem. But I wasn't. I was a freelancer. So everything he was asking me to do was going to cost me money to make it happen for him to save Marvel money in Federal Express charges. I'm completely aware of the way business works. I know how corporations work and I know how the freelancer thing works. So you cannot compare these two at all. So I hope I made the point there. Because I do see it from a corporate standpoint. I do understand what he was trying to do, and I don't blame David Bogart for doing it. I don't. You know, I mean, if I was in his shoes, I would try to do the same thing. Save the corporation money, use this new technology. Why not, right? I do it now. I save myself money all the time. I work with all kinds of different people. I use, emails. I FTP, we send files, we go back and forth. You know, it's more efficient and it saves us all money. I completely understand Marvel's point of view. But what Zack isn't understanding is I was a freelancer and everything he was asking me to do was going to cost me money in the form of more time to do it. Like I said, if David Bogart was willing to compensate me in some way, shape, or form, it would have been fine. And also, it's easy to look back. Hindsight is 2020. So Zack is coming from the standpoint 15 years later, where Blue Line and all this emailing and all this stuff is everyday occurrence in comics. It wasn't back then. This was a big deal. No one knew how this was going to work out. No one knew how the original art market was going to accept this. And there's still ripples to this day. With blue lines versus, you know, old school inking over pencils. You know, the collectors are still at odds. This is still a debate that's going on. So I was 100% correct when I was trepidatious about getting into this venture, you know, because there were ripple effects and those ripple effects are still being felt today. So if Zack is watching this video, I hope that helped. Just to clarify, I'm not upset. I understand where you're coming from, but I think, you know, I felt compelled to say this just to set the record straight, just so you know, and anybody that doesn't quite understand how this freelancer thing works can understand where I'm coming from. Because I'm not a corporate guy. I wasn't then, and I was working under a freelance agreement, not even, it's just a verbal agreement. It's not even a written agreement. There's no contracts. When they offer you a job, you guys, they don't even offer you a contract. They don't say, this is a job for 22 pages on Ultimate Spider-Man. They don't do that. They just say, do you want to do this book? And there's no agreement. There's just kind of an understanding, but an understanding that could change at any moment in time. They could pull those pages from you. And then if you thought you were going to have those 22 pages for that month to feed your family, well, guess what? You don't have those anymore. So now you have to scramble. You know, if you're working for Marvel, now you have to scramble. If Marvel doesn't have anything for you, then guess what you have to do? You have to go to DC. And if DC doesn't have anything for you, then you have to go to Dark Horse, or then you have to go to XYZ to try to compensate for that money that you weren't able to make. Because that issue was pulled from you. So that's another, there's two reasons why freelancers don't like to get pages pulled from them. One, for me, it's a sense of pride. I want to do every panel, every page, every issue of my run. I don't want any fill-ins. I don't want any help. I don't want any of that crap. I want that book to be the best that I can make it. And the only way I can do that is to control it and to do it. So there's that. And also, you don't want another artist coming in and working and possibly doing a better job than you did, because then, you know, the seeds of deceit are planted, or even being lateral to yourself, and maybe they get along better with the company, or they get along better with the artist. You can get fired, or you can not get the next job for many, many different reasons. And then the other thing is, you know, there's pride, and then there's just the money. So if you're counting on that 22 pages of income, which is 22 pages, that's how you get paid per page. I know I keep saying this, but I feel like I need to emphasize it. You have to make sure you have those 22 pages somehow, because you have to make ends meet at home. You have to be there to make your money, to pay your rent, to pay your mortgage, to feed your family, to pay your bills. So enough said on that. Let's see. Let's go to the chat here a little bit. I've been ignoring you guys, so I apologize. Okay, we have Sweet Cass here. Zack is cool, and I think he just had a nuanced opinion. Maybe Zack can come on tonight too. We're all friends. Oh yeah. You know, like, I'm not holding this against anybody. I just feel like I just need to give that flip side of the coin. So just from my point of view, just to try to be, I guess, more fair with the assessment of what happened. And Zack is definitely coming from, you know, like more of a corporate background, and that's fine. Like I said early on, we can only base judgment calls on our reality and our experiences. So he's obviously, his experiences and his reality is corporate. Mine, I have worked those corporate jobs, so I do understand how those corporate jobs work. But most of my adult life, I've been working as a freelance artist. You're only as good as your last job, which sometimes could be one panel, it could be one page, your last page. All right, let's see what Sierra Whiskey says. Bogart wanted to shift the cost onto Art with no comp. Art said no. Bogart conspired to retaliate. Background mechanics. Wow, you summed that up so quickly, man. I should have got some feedback from you earlier. I could have summed this whole thing up quicker. All right, I'm going back in the chat a little bit to see if there's what you guys are saying here. Zack knows all this, just FYI. Well, he didn't seem to know it in the video. Because he said he sided with David Bogart and didn't blame David Bogart for firing me. So that's some pretty direct speak there. I always feel like I have to do some waiting music while I'm going through the chat here. He did pass judgment. He gave his opinion on a situation that is judging. Yeah, but I think there's judging and then there's judging with malice. I don't think Zack was trying to hurt me, and I think he was trying to be as fair as he could with the understanding that he had. I wanted to say limited understanding, but with the understanding that he had at that moment. So hopefully, you know, if he watches this video, he'll kind of understand more of my point of view and more of a freelancer's point of view, because it's not just me. This is a reality for every freelancer in the comics industry. Oh, cool. Thank you, Dive Ninja. Art, your integrity is phenomenal, man. Just keep doing you and your awesome works. I can't wait for all my books from you. Hail High T Bear. Thank you so much, man. And I am going to share some photos with you guys, because let me use that as a way to go in and maybe kind of go into a little bit of different direction and see if we can kind of leave on a cool. I'm back. Haha, I hit the wrong button. So I want to hit this button, and I want to hit this button, this one, pull this lever, hit this, and then come over here. So hopefully you guys can see this picture. This happened this morning, you guys. This is, what is it, 1700 black and white books. So we got an early shipment, and like I said, I referred to it as blood money, that we paid the printer to get boxes early so we could keep our word with the backers on black and white and start fulfillment. So we have run out of those books actually just in time, because we got these today. So this is the bulk. This is all of the books here. So this is everybody's order and then some. So like I said, we got these this morning, and my gosh, man, my wife is so awesome, Pamela. She was so excited, man. I was, what was I doing? She ran upstairs and she's like, Art, we got the books. We got the books. I think the truck's outside. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, so this is the books. They're all snug. And what you see behind the books, because this thing with the board on top of it, that's the actual comic books. And then the stuff behind that are the shipping material. So these are the boxes and the backing boards and the Gemini mailers, which are all back there. So the garage is a fulfillment warehouse now. So, and then these are the books. So we weren't able to ship out any of the Capullo, Grey Capullo variant covers, because we didn't get those in the advanced shipment. We just got the main book there. So now we do have the black and white volume 1 Grey Capullo variants. So those will start going out as well. And actually, Pamela packed a lot of those up this morning, and she went to the post office, and we got some of those books out today. So if you did back one of the Capullo books or a combination of the two books, they are now shipping as well. So knowing my wife and how, you know, her integrity is, I'm sure these books are going to be shipping every day. So she'll do, you know, whatever's manageable as far as the amount. She'll go to the post office and she'll send those out. So this is all happening, my friends. So we have everything. We have all the stretch goals materials made and printed. We have all the ash cans printed and done. We have the trading card, and now we have both versions of the book. So we are now officially in full-on fulfillment mode. So if you have ordered black and white and you're a backer, thank you so very much, and thank you for your patience. I much appreciate it. The whole team appreciates it, and I think we're going to get together with Taylor Grosso this Monday, and we're going to sign up a bunch of these books as well. So we had some of the books signed previously, and those are the ones that went out today. So I think that's it. Let's go back, see what you guys are saying. Yes, today is a great day. Yeah. Also, the Chrono campaign, you guys have been supporting the heck out of it. We've had a tremendous last 3 days on the campaign. So we are now, you know what? I'm going to kind of peruse the chat here real quick. Sweet, looks great. I think that's in a comment for the books. Keith, did you get one of the books? Thank you, man. It was a lot of fun to do. I like good, clean action adventure stuff like that. So I hope everybody that gets the book will enjoy the hell out of it. Okay, so here's Jude. Wasn't able to back Black and White when the campaign was open. RT Bear, you don't plan to release the and then some at any time. Well, what I am going to do is we are going to do a standard edition of Black and White. So it'll be on newsprint because I don't want to compete with the bells and whistles deluxe version, which is the one that we've already funded. But I want to give you access to that as well, Jude. So that will be part of the campaign. So they'll probably be very limited, but you will be able to get some of the graphic novel version, the bells and whistles version of Black and White Volume 1, because this is all square bound and it's all graphic novel format, upgraded paper, and cover and all the good stuff. So the standard version will be a saddle stitch, a stapled version of the book with a floppy cover. So it'll look more like a normal monthly comic that you see on the shelf, and we'll be able to bring the price down on that as well. I have been thinking about, because we did overprint some of the stretch goal stuff, so we might actually combine that in some of the tiers and maybe doing some jam tiers. We'll have to charge because I got to make sure that each one of these campaigns is different. So, but I do want to give you guys access to what the original backers had, but you'll have to pay a little bit of a premium price for it, just to be fair to all the original backers. So, what was I going to do? I was going to check. Oh, very cool. Okay, so I don't have a tab. I cannot believe this. I do not have a tab open. Hold on, I got to open a tab here. And there's my music. Okay, so I wish I would have had it open, because then it could have been dramatic, because we just went up. We got a couple books into people's hands while we've been talking, so that is awesome, you guys. So if there's anybody in the chat that is backed a book just now, thank you. And yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to go through Alterna or not. I am going to talk to Peter at some point when things slow down, because right now it's pretty crazy. I'm in full campaign mode, and I want to make sure that I can get Chrono Mechanics funded the way it needs to be funded, and then I can go. I can start entertaining other ideas. But it's all on the table at this point, and at the very least, I do want to have a good one-on-one with Peter Samedi and go over some of the options and things like that. I really like his business model, and I like what he's trying to do. Maybe some of the more mainstream guys can bring some of their IPs over, and maybe because of the name, recognition, it might put some more, a spotlight on him, so I don't know. It's all that's the fun part of doing this, man. We're making it up as we go along. So it's all on the table, and they're all options. And that's the fun part. That is the fun part of this. So FluxCore says Chrono Mechanics, they do more before the dawn of time than most people do all day. RT Bear, 2 campaigns, 366, 274 backers, and we're at 254% funded from the flexible goal. 2 days left. So it did wrap over into 2 days. So we have 2 days. It must roll over around noontime. Let's see what Jude says here. The first time I backed a project on Indiegogo, I didn't know how it worked. So I ended up just donating 25 and didn't realize until way after the project ended. Oh, did you not get your book? You just gave them 25? Well, that's very sweet of you, man. If it was something that you backed from me, let me know. I'll send you a book. I'll send you a book. Oh, here we go. The Greg Capullo variant is old Greg art, isn't it? Yeah, it's from '94. So one of the ways I was originally marketing the black and white campaign was it was going to be a remastered of the 1994 series. But remastering as far as like tweaking the artwork, kind of digitally going and cleaning up stuff, redrawing where necessary, maybe add a panel or two if clarification is needed for better storytelling. Just kind of like an updated version of the book. So as I got along with black and white, I realized that there's other story ideas. There's more to this story, and I could flesh it out and build onto this story. And so the creative process being what it is and being a perfectionist and just wanting to create the best product I can, I started retooling the entire story and put, I think there's 12, maybe 15 new pages. There's probably more like 15 or so new. Wait a minute. I think there's more than that. It's probably 20 new pages in the book. So, and then a lot of even the remastered stuff isn't just remastered. It's completely redrawn. So there was a lot to it. And so I was going through my original artwork, from '94 for black and white. And I noticed I still had the Greg Capullo variant cover. I owned the original. So I scanned it in and I just started kind of remastering it. I started cleaning it up and reworking it. And it came out so good. I gave it to Priya, the colorist on black and white, and he knocked it out of the ballpark. And I decided to make it a variant. So it is an image pinup from 1994. And Capullo and I were hanging out a lot back then. And he was working on Spawn. I had inked his first couple issues of Spawn. I think his first 2 or 3 issues. And so we got to know each other pretty good. And he's a metalhead. I'm a metalhead. So we had a lot in common. And so he would kind of help me draw and I'd help him ink. And I think he was working on Creech. So he was putting that book together. And so we just had a pretty good couple of years. Like we were pretty tight for those years there. Things being what they are, sometimes you just kind of move in different directions. So we're not quite as close now as we were then. But man, I cherish it, and I can't believe that he just did that pinup, and it was so good. It really should have been a cover, but back then we weren't doing a lot of variant covers and stuff like that. It's not like it is now. So that's kind of the story of the Greg Capullo variant. So thank you for asking. So let's see where we're at. It was the first Cyber Frog. Oh, okay. I'm sure you could work something out with Ethan. He's pretty fair. Nice. Metal is life. Man, you know what? When my daughter was young, what was really cool is there's all kinds of new metal that was coming up. So there's a place in Orange County. It's called Chain Reaction. So there'd be a lot of up and coming metal bands that would play out of there. And so it was neat to see, all these new fresh faces coming in and enjoying, some heavier music. And she dug it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Okay, well, I am going to screen share again, and I'm going to show you quickly the Chrono campaign. And so let me refresh it because I just want to be sure. 398. So if I rounded that up to 4, that means we are 600, only 600 away from $21,000. Man, this has been a monumental campaign, you guys, but you are coming through right now, and I much appreciate it. So the good thing, and this is where I'm going to inspire you, is if we can get to 25K, you guys, it is a deal changer. It is going to be a complete deal changer because it's the next stretch goal. We're going to add 6 pages to the story, which will be in the form of some clarity, but mostly action. And these pages, these pages I have in store are going to kick ass. They are going to be fun. And like I've been saying, this book is totally unique. It is different than any book you will ever read. I can guarantee you. The tone, the artwork, everything. And this is quite a departure from my mainstream Marvel DC stuff. I figured if I'm going to do indie books, be all in, man. Be as unique as you can be, because Marvel DC would not pay me to draw in this style. I guarantee you. So Chrono Mechanics, they do more before the dawn of time than most people do all day. These guys are knuckle-busting time repairmen, and they repair the big machine known as time. And yes, when I say big machine, I am talking nuts, bolts, cosmic clockwork machine that was built in the very fabric of time and space when it was formed. So this machine is as big as the cosmos themselves. So you can imagine it's a pretty damn monumental job. Yeah. And it's a relentless job. This machine is old, so it breaks down a lot. So we have a company called Chrono Incorporated that manages the big machine and hires teams of mechanics to go out and fix things. So this story focuses on the best of the best, which is Team 9.2 of Sector 7. So it is a self-contained 48-page, and when I say it's PG-13, what I mean is, like a PG-13 movie, you can drop one F-bomb, and you can get into somewhat adult, I guess, tone in the story. So this book does have some raunchy humor. It has some more adult themes in it that might not be suitable for young kids, but you'll have to evaluate it based on your kids if you're going to try to pick this up for your children. I'm thinking this is as a parent, this is how I would describe it. Think if your kid can, if you think they're okay to watch Futurama or The Simpsons, then I think you'll be okay with this, because sometimes, those cartoons get a little edgy. So this does at times as well. So it can basically, I think it can entertain both. And I think adults, older people will like this book as well, because I love it. So this is Doug, or the D, and he is he's the new recruit, or is he? We're not sure if he's going to make the team or not. That's why this drawing is here, because the 3 of them are in mechanic form, but Doug is still in his 70s rock form. And I'll explain what that means. It's kind of a Shazam idea where they can transform into a chrono mechanic. So this is kind of a little bit of a backstory on Doug. We get into that he's a 70s rock star. He's as big as you could possibly get. He's kind of a hybrid between Steven Tyler and Ted Nugent. And so this is over in the right-hand top corner. This is the D on The Tonight Show. He's being interviewed by Johnny Carson. And then down here with the big bushy mustache, that's Geraldo Rivera. So this is kind of getting into his popularity and his backstory. So then this is Chrono Incorporated, which I was talking about. So it's a satellite out in timeless space. So this is where all the time ships are docked, all the the ships, the time trucks, all that is repaired. So there's a bunch of repair docks, and then this little part of the bolt that's lower where they have the kind of glowing ports. That's where the ships get lowered into and they get shot through the ports. So think about it like Jack Kirby's boom tube. So they go through the boom tube and they get transferred through time. And the boom tube, I refer to it as the time stream. So the time stream is kind of like a highway. It's a time highway. And so the ships commute through the time stream. And that's how they get to work. That's how they get to the work site. But basically, they're getting teleported to a timeline where the machine has broken down. So this is Doug basically coming into the chronomechanics world. So if you think about Alice in Wonderland or Dorothy in Oz, so that's kind of what's happening here. He's getting pulled from the 70s and being brought into this prehistoric landscape where the time ship has just crashed. And we can see poor, sweet Miguel did not make the crash. He is laying over there and he has been killed. Yeah, because I also wanted to get into a little bit that, some of these jobs that people do are quite dangerous. It's their pain in the ass, mundane job, but, sometimes there can be consequences. So that's what I wanted to show, that it is a pretty dangerous job to be a chronomechanic, even though they're powered up and they have these suits and they're protected and they're stronger than, a normal person would be. They can still be hurt and they can die. So that's why Doug is being recruited. So he's kind of going to take Miguel's place. And so this is Caravaggio who's introducing himself to Doug. And so he mistakenly thinks if he reduces himself from chronoform into his true form, which is a Renaissance artist inventor, loosely based on the real Caravaggio, then, Doug will be less, frightened, which does not work. And so then we have Doug running away, and then he runs into this big, tree trunk of a man, and it turns out it's Oot. So Oot is a prehistoric businessman. He delves into real estate. He's a real estate agent. So he sells and leases cave condos. And these aren't not just normal cave condos. These are all outfitted with fire, which is the new big technology of the time. So you could imagine he's very successful in his timeline. And very intelligent for his timeline. So, but he's also very knee jerky. So this is him going to punch Doug out because he ran into him. And so then enters Zin, who is a child deity. So he has the Trinity gem. And so he believes in peace and that we can work it out in civil ways. So then he transforms back to his core self, which is, he's a child deity squid from a different region of space. So he's introducing himself there. And then this is basically the three explaining what Doug is supposed to do. And he's supposed to be a chronomechanic and do a job. And then Doug at the end just says, I don't do work. Work is a 4-letter word. I'm a rocker. I'm a rocker, dude. I don't do work. I don't do manual labor, man. So this is out of the continuity of the page-to-page stuff. This is later, and Doug is kind of like, "Hey, dudes, can you front me some green? I'm hungry," because he sees this sign, and then we reveal that there's an Eat at Joe's 50s Cafe that just appears in a prehistoric landscape. So our three mechanics that understand what's going on are naturally freaked out. So the reason they're freaked out is because the big machine has gone too long without being repaired. So the longer it goes unrepaired, the more anomalies can happen. So there's all these kind of time anomalies that are happening. And so this is a very big one when time merges onto itself. So timelines are starting to get jumbled. and become one. And if they go long enough, then there's absolutely nothing left. And so it's very important that they fix this machine, and they have to do it, quickly. Otherwise, all kinds of ramifications and bad stuff can happen. So this is Doug. I was told, there needs to be more chicks. There needs to be some sex appeal. Listen, man, Doug is a womanizer, man. There's some chicks in here, and there's some of that. It doesn't focus on them, but there are a few hot chicks in the story. So this is Doug flirting with the 50s roller waitress. What do they call them? Car hops. So the other three are like, what the heck is going on, man? We're losing the new recruit. So then Caravaggio at the end just says, no matter, we still have a job to do, with or without this guy. Let's get going. And so then this is a page out of context as well. I don't want to give too much away, but they're trying to get back on track to get to the work site here. So the ship is obviously crashed. It's miles away from the work site. So they're taking the truck, the ground transportation, to get to the work site. And so I'm not going to spoil that. So this gives you another idea of time merging. So out of nowhere, this Indian village or Native American village shows up, and we have a little situation between the mechanics and the villagers. So we have that, and then we have the work in progress sketchbook, which I won't get into here, but I do want to show you the stretch goals before we leave, and show you what, if you back this book, what you already have received in the form of stretch goals. So the 12K, 13K, 14K, and 15K are the trading card set, and those all have been unlocked. So thank you, guys. And these are your rewards for your hard work and your dedication to Chrono Mechanics. I really do appreciate it. And I love these stretch goals because it's a way that I can give back to you guys for supporting me and helping, make this a reality. It does mean a lot to me, man. It really does. So we got that far, and we've done this, you guys, within the last couple of days. So this is coming out of nowhere, man. You guys are the best. So we got 16K. It's a trading card based on the first cover. So this is the main cover, and it's got this cool graphics, and it has the Team 9.2 of Sector 7 medallion or cog, and they also wear that on their sleeves. So it's the patch. It's their work patch. And so here we go. Here's the Team 9.2 of Sector 7 button, which we've unlocked. Holy crap, you guys. You guys have been busy. And then we have the 19K, which is the guitar pick. So this is the lucky pick. This is Doug's guitar pick. And it is a major part of the story, you guys. So you're probably asking yourself, well, how can a guitar pick be a major part of the story? Well, you're just going to have to pick the book up and find out for yourself, because this is pretty damn cool. And it's one of the stretch goals I wanted so badly, because I just want a damn guitar pick with Doug's face on it. And they may be two-sided, you guys. It depends on the price, but the back side of it might say Luck E pick, because when you see the pick in the comic, it doesn't have his face on it like this. It says Luck E pick on the back. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, we're almost 21K, which means we are only 4,000 away from the big dream, you guys. This is the big dream. I want to give you guys more pages. I want this so badly. And we're only 4K away from it. 6 more pages. And I kind of explained it earlier, where this is mostly going to be in the form of some cool action adventure stuff. Some really, really fun stuff that I do not want to spoil for you guys. Maybe if we fund it, I'll give you a little insight on it, but I don't want to spoil it right now. And then at 30K, we're going to go full on at 30K. We're going to go full on spine. And we're going to turn this into a high-end graphic novel. So it'll be all square bound with the cardboard cover. So only 30K, we could get this book into a really, really cool, one-of-a-kind, upgraded, book. I mean, it's one of a kind, just the content, but we'll be able to basically bring it up to the level that the cover, and then there's some foil enhancements and things that I had planned as well, so we can actually bring the aesthetic and the collectability up to match the uniqueness of the story itself. So at 33K, we get another 6 pages. So that would be a total of 60 pages, you guys, for the same price. You don't have to pay anything more for this. If we can get this to 33K, you will get absolutely no charge 12 extra pages plus perfect binding, which is square bound, graphic novel format. So that's pretty killer. And I don't mind the extra work, you guys. This is at 60 pages, we will be able to tell the story that I have in my head, the dream story. So this is still a reality, you guys. We have 2 days left. And based on the last 3 days, this looks like it could be a reality. So please, if you've already backed, could you help get the word out on your social media? Would be appreciated. If you have friends that like this kind of content, please turn them on to this. This is all guerrilla marketing, you guys. So this is how it's done. I'm not DC Marvel. I do not have deep pockets. I do not have an advertising budget or, a division, that just, markets stuff. I don't have that. I have you guys, and I am very grateful for that. So then the biggie alert is at 45K, and that's the foil enhancements. And we have looked into this. It is expensive. It is expensive to do what we want to do here. But man, if we could get to this thing would sing. This book would sing. So the foil enhancements, what I have in mind is, if you picture the cover that I've showed you already, the logo will be foil enhanced, and then there'll be a little trim line all the way around the cover, the perimeter of the cover, not all the way out to the edges, but kind of inset a little bit, like a piping all the way around. And then in the right-hand bottom corner will be like a quarter of a cog, maybe a little bit more. And that will be all embossed in the same, like it would be probably a metallic color, either gold or silver will be what the cog will be made out of. And what will look really, really cool is Pamela and I will sign our names right in that cog. So it'll be like a little spot that's just hidden away or specific just for the signatures. And I think that'll be very cool, because this book then will look all designed and it'll look very organized in a way that the aesthetics work. Because sometimes when I'm signing books, I feel bad because there's not like a cool place to sign on the book. So you find yourself kind of signing over some cool artwork on the cover. So this has kind of been designed with that little corner symbol there. So it won't take away from the artwork on the cover. It will enhance it. It'll look freaking phenomenal. It's going to look so, so cool. So that's at 45K, you guys. You got to have dreams. And that's my big dream. I dream the impossible dream. But with your help, we can make it possible. And then 55K. Oh my gosh, if we could do this, this would be so fun. It's the golden time card. So one of the fun things about these Indiegogos is we can make them specifically themed to the book. And so what's cool about this is most people still punch a time card. And so this is the golden time card. So it's an actual time card, like a Chrono Mechanics, Chrono Incorporated time card. So this is what the Chrono Mechanics themselves would probably use. It wouldn't be golden though. And so if you get one of these golden tickets, these golden time cards, you can send it back to me. Once you fill it out, you have to fill out your hours, you have to sign your name, and just like a normal time card, and you have to send it to me. And 1 out of every 10 backers will get one of these put in their comic book. And so if you send it back to me all filled out, I will do a doodle for you. I will do a cool 9x12 head sketch for you of one of, it'll probably be Doug. It'll probably be this drawing or based on this drawing. So that is the big goals. Those are the big dreams. And I can actually start talking to you about this, which is pretty amazing because, like I said, the last 3 days have been monumental. And it's all because of you. It's all because of you guys. So yeah, this is a lot of support. I just went over a lot of cool animators, designers, and comic book artists that lend their talents to this campaign, which is very, very cool. So I want to try to get out of here. I usually just do this really fast, but I don't want to because I probably give you guys vertigo when I move too fast. So I'm easing up to the top, and then I will refresh and see. I'll keep my fingers crossed that something cool has happened here. So we're at 2398. So let's see if we went anywhere. Oh, we got a backer. Yay. Very, very cool. So what is this now? So that's 343. Is that 343 away from 21K? So thank you guys. Much appreciated. Thanks for if somebody in the chat, if you just backed, thank you. Mucho apreciado. Let's go back to StreamYard, see what you guys are doing, and then I'm going to wrap this bad boy up. I'd like to speak to your T-Bear HR department, please. I have a complaint. T-Bear has been pinching the rumpuses of the hot interns. I have not been doing that. That is a false allegation. How dare you? I like art. I like the art. Kind of reminds me of what is it? What? I like the art. Kind of reminds me of Day of the Tentacle. Is that right? What is the Day of the Tentacle? Huh. I'll have to look that up because I do not know what you're talking about. So if there is a similarity in style, it is not deliberate. Because I had no idea. I had no idea that existed. Oh, okay. So it's a video game. Video game. I do not play video games, you guys. So I used to, when they had arcades and stuff like that. But I can't play the video games anymore, man. They take so much time. I don't have that kind of downtime anymore. I kind of wish I did. Oh, okay. So it's a sequel to Manic Mansion. I'll have to look those up and see what that's all about. Let me write this down, actually. That title is horrible. The Day of the Tentacle? Is that right? I'll look this up when I get off and see what the style looks like. The Tentacle. Well, very cool, you guys. Thanks for hanging with me. And I hope... I didn't anger anybody, mainly Zack. I was just trying to give, my side of the story. So, I hope that there's no hard feelings. And I didn't tell the story to create a bunch of drama. To be honest, I just told the story to get it off my chest. And it had been 15 years to tell my Marvel story. And so it just felt right to do it. So I did it. So there was no bigger anything. I don't quite work that way. I'm kind of a day-to-day guy. I don't really have too much of a master plan. I need to start working on a master plan. It would probably help, but I really don't have one, you guys. Oh, thank you so much, man. I can't wait for Chrono Mechanics. Thanks for the $1.99. How do you say that? Daxamite? I like that. Daxamite. That's cool. That'll be a new Chrono Mechanics character. Maybe Zin can be from the galaxy or the planet Daxamite. That could be cool. I'm going to write this down. I'm writing a lot of stuff down. I got these Post-its all over the place. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I mean, that's part of what this is. Stay fairly transparent. Things happen day to day. We, as YouTubers, try to, basically give you insight on what's happening in our lives, what's happening on these campaigns. Maybe a little bit of, oh gosh, what do you call it? I'm never good at this stuff. Where you just have like topics of the day. Like I'm not a small talk guy. I'm not a topic of the day type of person. So I try, but because YouTube works cool, it works best if you could be like news of the day, because then you always have content. So the only content I have is boomer stories of the old days at Marvel and DC and Image Comics, the new projects I'm working on, behind the scenes creativity, what else, and boomer stories of being old. I don't know. I don't know, you guys, but thank you so much for hanging. Oh, what is this? What is this? Wait a minute. Things just moved. Ooh, I don't know what 20MX is, but thank you very much. How do you say that? Valdez D. Frank. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Leave it on demand for a month. Trust me, man. I have thought about this. Like I said, I don't really have a master plan. So at this point in time, what I'm really, really hoping for is if we can hit that 25K, I can make all of this work. So everybody gets paid. I'm sorry. This is funny. 20 pesos. Well, I don't know what it means, but I appreciate it. Yeah, it's all good. So at 25K, we can make it all work. So I can pay everybody, not out of my own pocket, but based on profits. I can pay for the printing. I can pay for all of the trading cards, all the stretch goals, and I can make enough money to get me to the next campaign, which is going to be early next year. So probably February, I'll be launching either the black and white standard edition that I was talking about earlier, or I'm going to do a Oodles of Doodles art book volume 2. So those are both kind of neck and neck at this point with what I'm going to do. So I need to powwow with my wife and see how she feels about this. But I believe at 25K, we would feel okay with shutting it down. If we don't, then I might entertain the idea of doing the in-demand. And the good thing about Indiegogo is those are great options to have, right? So if we keep it in demand, we can in time get to that point. So then we can make the print run that we want, and then we can pay everything. We can pay for everything and make it all work, which is a cool, default or fallback to have, which Kickstarter does not have that. Boomer stories are always fun. Yeah, in the old days. That's how I'll start every one of my stories. In the old days, we had to walk uphill for 2 miles in the snow just to get to school. Oh, cool. Thank you, brother. And I think you got the first volume as well. So thanks for the support, Sierra Whiskey. And I did post your artwork up, the splash page from your new book. So dude, I've been brainwashed. I just want to keep calling it Super Chicken. I know it's not Super Chicken. I'll find out because I want to get this right. Okay, it's Killer Frickin' Chickens from Space. Okay, so that's close. Super Chicken, Killer Frickin' Chickens from Space. The cool thing about it is it all the world building looks very, very realistic, but there's crazy ass chickens, like buff chickens in the story. So it looks really, really fun. I can't wait for you to get that book out. Waiting for, oh yeah, the Vampirilla campaign. I'm still waiting for a date on that. So when I know, you guys will know. So if you haven't heard, let me see if I can find the artwork since Kevin brought it up. Let's see if I can do this for you guys. Just some early promotion for future stuff. Okay, I believe this is it. Bump, bump, bump. Okay. So let's get this in a place. Let me come back. I'm going to screen share for you guys. So this is what Kevin's talking about in case you guys haven't heard. So this is the artwork it's done for the Vampirilla black and white variant cover. So this is it in all of its glory. So I think it came out really cool. So this is Vampirilla and black and white team up. They just decimated these giant, skeletal robots. So I love robots, and I thought robots as a backdrop would fit the black and white world, since black was within the MI10 was technically a robot hunter. So this kind of builds or feeds into that idea. So that's what Kevin was bringing up. So let me zoom in, so you can see some of the details. So I think it came out very cool. I'm very proud of this. I can't wait to see some color on it. I'm waiting still to hear back from Dynamite and see what they want to do with it. So it does exist. It's here. It exists in black and white. I thought that face came out really cool. I like that. White's looking a little aloof, like she always does. And then Vampy is looking like bow chicka bow, wow wow, as she always does. So yeah, look at that line work. Look at that line work. Ooh, look at, okay, I'm gonna brag on myself for a minute. Let me see. Let me see if I can move this over here. Look at some of the effects I throw for mist. So I kind of do a series. Maybe I shouldn't tell my technique. I think I did a video where I show it though. But this is kind of the technique. There's some fingerprinting in there. There's some smudging, and then there's a little a little Photoshop action there. So when it's smaller, you can't see how it's done. You just see that there's kind of a fog or a mist behind it. I love doing this. Since I started doing this, I started doing this effect on Batman Arkham Knight. So I started doing this effect with the fingerprinting, and then the kind of smudging, the spattering, and then the little digital Photoshop work over it. And then I brought that idea into inking Steven Segovia on Action Comics. So he would loosely indicate stuff. Yeah, after I started doing it, he's like, that's cool. So then he started indicating it in his work. And then I think we did some pretty groundbreaking effects and ink stuff in there. People are like, oh, well, the colorist did not do that stuff. I did it. Yeah. So let me go back, stop sharing. And thank you, Kevin, for letting me go off on a tangent. Just to remind you guys, Chrono is going strong right now. We have 2 more days. And please go check out this book. It is a unique, one-of-a-kind book. I guarantee you will never read anything like this. Nothing like this exists. It is so fun and different and unique. I think you're just going to be blown away. Going to be blown away by it. Just the tone and the fun and the uniqueness of the whole thing. Oh, thank you. I'm clicking on Sierra a lot. It almost looks like I'm playing favorites. Beautiful work. Don't mind Photoshop. Oh, geez. Thanks, Brian. Beautiful work. Don't mind Photoshop as long as you can't notice it. Yeah, yeah. I don't think you can. When I blew it up, that was really huge scale. But when it's normal size, you can't see it. And sometimes, I can do smoother Photoshop, but this one I kind of wanted to look a little bit more aggressive, a little less smooth, I guess. Okay. Oh, we have Comic Book Bob, and I saw you in oh my gosh, on a was it Dan Fraga? Where was it? You were on somebody's show. That was very cool to see you and put a face to the name. You're one of the goats. Art, keep teaching this art form. We need these skills preserved. I like tangible art. I like digital stuff too, but I like tangible artwork. I think he's talking about a date for the black and white Vampirilla. I do not. So to be honest, I have no idea where this stands at this point. I know I was talking, and we were going to add some pretty cool extras to the campaign as well that have not been thrown into a campaign yet. At least these Vampirilla campaigns. So it's still kind of being developed right now. But I thought, since you brought it up, Kevin, I would show you the artwork. Do you still do conventions? Yeah, I do. I'm going to do the Comic-Con Revolution. It's here local. So I do that every year. I really like Mike Sigliano. I like everybody that managed that show. And it's really cool because it's not a pop multimedia kind of convention. It's a comic convention. And the cool thing that Mike does is he puts the artist alley right in the center of the con. Like, the convention itself circles around the artist alley, and there's a big sign right in the middle of the room. It says Artist Alley. So, it's pretty much like all alleys or all hallways or whatever they call those pathways lead to Artist Alley. So you can't avoid it at all. And it's fairly huge. So what he does is all the local talent here in California, they all go and support the show. And then he usually gets probably 3 to 4 people that usually don't get on this coastline. And he brings them over. So it's a really cool show, you guys. If you're in Corona, Southern California area, you should come by. So I have that planned. But other than that, no. I am gearing up for WonderCon because, to be honest, I liked WonderCon, I guess it was earlier this year, better than the San Diego Comic-Con. And to be honest, again, I did very, very well. I did very well financially. So I did I did better. No, it's probably a lateral move. I did as well as I have in San Diego on a good convention outing, as I did for 3 days at WonderCon. And San Diego is 5 days, and it's a zoo, and the hotels are crazy, and it's pretty hard to do that show. It's not a casual thing, and the overhead can be quite expensive. But WonderCon is driving. I can just drive. It's right across the street from Disneyland, so I can just drive down there. My wife drops me off, and then I go in and I do my thing. So it's way more convenient, and I killed this earlier this year doing sketches. I do some pre-con commissions, and my prints were selling like crazy at the show, and then original artwork. So everything was doing well. And the cool thing is Taylor was there at the show, and it's always fun to do these shows with somebody because it's kind of hard to draw and talk to people at the same time. So when there's somebody else helping out, it makes it easier, and I can get through the drawings a lot faster. So I did appreciate her hanging this last WonderCon. Missed that girl. So it was great to see you posting in the chat that night. Art, we appreciate it. Oh yeah, yeah. You guys were on fire, man. You guys look like you were having a great time. Bringing comic talk to the people. That's what this is all about. Have you ever been, Daxum? Have you ever been to the San Diego Comic-Con? Because it sounds like you have. So you know firsthand that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. As the kids say, it's cray. It's cray cray. Okay, I think this is going to be my last. I hear that a lot. San Diego Comic-Con has become more of a media con than a Comic-Con. A lot of comic people, vendors, artists, etc., have begun avoiding it. Yeah, and it's pretty sad to see, because this was a big mainstay in the comics industry. Huge, and Hollywood came in and did what they do, and they I think they look at comic books as riffraff. I don't think they have a lot of respect for what we do, other than how they can exploit it and make money off of it. And of course, I'm making a general statement. I'm not saying all, but yeah. Go. Oh no, but I hear stories. I go to New York Comic Con. Yeah, I heard that's pretty crazy these days too. I think the big con at the Javits, I went first couple years that they first started, and I liked it. I thought it was really great. New York crowds are the best, man. And maybe it's because I don't do New York shows a lot, but man, every time I go into that town, even the boroughs, all that, man, they are the best. They're always polite. They shell out the dough. We get to talk comics. It's all a good time. It is a good time. So what is, let me see, I'm in my emails right now. 3:38. Yeah, that was a while ago. Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys go, and I think I'm gonna be on Sweetcast's show later tonight. So, and it's 4:00 now. Yeah, I don't think I could do both. So I'm gonna have to hit up the Pontificator guys and let them know that we probably won't be able to do one tonight because of the Sweetcast thing, and Sweetcast wants to talk about some of this this nonsense. So we'll probably talk some nonsense, and we'll probably move on to some more interesting and fun stuff. Yeah, Clint. I really did. I wasn't too familiar with him. He had me on his show to promote Chrono Mechanics maybe a week or so ago, and man, I just hit it off well with him. I connected with this guy. I hope he did with me as well, because I had a great time on his show, and he's got a lot of integrity, man. I like that, and I think we had Von Klaus on. And love that guy, man. That guy's a bundle of energy. He's a lot of fun. So I think he may be in the chat or on the show as well tonight. So I'm not sure, but that's where I'm going to be. Wait a minute. Do we have a celebrity? Do we have a celebrity in the house? Look at that. 107 watching. Woot. Oh, that reminds me. I got to do my business thing. If you guys have not thumbed it up, please thumb it up. And if you know anybody that likes this kind of entertainment, please encourage them to come by, sub if they like it. And we are all being purged. Mike is being purged. I am being purged. We are all being purged by YouTube right now. So I have been getting notifications from people that they are unsubscribed. So they say they're going after, I guess, whatever bots or whatever the hell their explanation is. But what is happening in the meantime is people that have subbed our channels are getting unsubbed. So check your notifications. Please make sure that you're subbed. And if you haven't subbed to Mike S. Miller, Art of the Hero, please do so. Mike is online every day, man. He is one of the most talented, prolific guys I know. And I'm not just talking about his artwork, but man, on YouTube, holy moly, man. I don't know what Mike is on, but he is like the ever ready bunny. He does not stop. He is going all the time. I wish he could do an Indiegogo for that. Like, I would back Mike if I could have like 10% of his energy. He loves comic books. He loves hanging out with you guys. So it's all good. Did I do good there, Uncle Mikey? Did I promote you good, huh? So all right, you guys. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.